Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you're enjoying this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to follow our channel. You can really help us out by subscribing, liking and dropping a comment below. It means a lot. The best preserved Greek temple in the world, huh? Well, that's what folks call the Temple of Concordia in Agrigento, Sicily. Alongside the well-preserved Hephaestion in Athens, it's considered, just about the finest example of a Greek temple still standing. The only thing it's missing is the roof. The reason it survived so well is because back in ancient times it was converted into a church. That really helped protect it, you see. Very few other temples were that lucky, honestly. When Christianity spread, there were, according to one account, around 424 temples in the city of Rome. Some temples soared into the skies, like the great temple of Jupiter at Baalbek. Others were buried underground, like the Oracle of the Dead in Ephesus. These temples held flocks of sacred doves, ritual vessels, massive tusks, meteorites, ancient blackwood idols and glowing statues. They were some of the most magnificent and treasured buildings in the ancient world. But within just 2 centuries, under Christian emperors, many were defaced or destroyed. Some Christians attacked temples outright. In Gaul, St. Martin burned shrines and sacred groves. On the other side of the empire, Bishop Porphyry of Gaza tore down the temple of Zeus Manus. In Egypt, Abbot Shenut led bands of monks against shrines and religious buildings. Violence peaked under Theodosius I, when Christian mobs stormed the Serapeum in Alexandria. Writers like Libanius pleaded with officials to stop the destruction of pagan sanctuaries, but most of the violence went unchecked. The government did try to stop random destruction. Decrees were issued banning the reuse of temple materials for building. Some elites, even Christian ones, sympathized with the old traditions. One bishop even gave Emperor Julian a tour of a sacred precinct. Still, by the 5th century, most temples had either fallen into ruin or been stripped bare. A few statues and artworks were saved. For example, the great statue of Zeus from Olympia was moved to Constantinople, and the colossal bronze Athena Promachos from Athens also ended up there. Most temples, however, were abandoned or dismantled. Earthquakes and looting finished off many of them. Justinian was even rumoured to have reused columns from the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus in Hagia Sophia. Only a small number of temples were directly turned into churches, partly because temples were designed to house a single statue of a god, not to hold congregations. They were too small and too cramped for Christian rituals. Some temples were exorcised first, because people believed the old gods were actually demons lurking inside. In new cities, churches were usually built near the graves of martyrs rather than reusing temples. Rome didn't get its first temple-to-church conversion until 609, when the Pantheon was dedicated as a church. Elsewhere, temples were adapted in different ways. In Didyma, a church was built inside the giant Temple of Apollo. In Agrigento, both the Temple of Concordia and the Hephaestion in Athens were remodeled into basilicas by filling in the colonnades and reshaping the interiors. In Rome, whole cathedrals were built over temple foundations like San Nicola in Carcere, which swallowed up 3 temples at once. Other temples were dismantled completely. At Aphrodisias, only a few columns of the Temple of Aphrodite remain. The rest was reused to build a new cathedral. Some even went through multiple transformation, from temple to church to mosque and back again. The cathedral in Syracuse started as a temple of Athena, became a church, then a mosque, and finally a church again. The great mosque of Damascus stands where a Roman temple of Zeus once was, after serving as a Christian cathedral for centuries. The Parthenon itself spent centuries as a church, then echoed with the Muslim call to prayer when it became a mosque. The story of these transformations shows how the ancient world gradually shifted into the medieval one, with temples, churches and mosques layered on top of each other, all carrying traces of the past. Finally, I just want to thank you for listening and, encourage you to follow the channel and watch future videos. Please subscribe, like